Hello everybody, it's Maikito, and quickly going over yesterday's picks or today's picks. Swept the money lines. Argentina money line hit, USA money line hit, and the Inter Miami money line hit. So swept those, and then I actually have 5 added plays to include with the player props. When it comes to the YouTube ones, one push really ended with two right at the end. Erison over 2.5. He had two at the very end. He could have easily got a shot. He passed the bag, so he should have hit, but unfortunately he didn't. Oro's higher than 0.5 shots assisted. That one hit within like the first 10 minutes of the game. That was easy. And then our added plays, Denas lower than 2 saves hit. Morshell lower than 0.5 shots on target hit. Medina higher than 0.5 shots hit. Velasco higher than 0.5 shots hit. And then our only miss was Gazdag higher than 1.5 shots. He actually had two in the second half, and for some reason they took one away. They took one in the first half or something like that. So that one again also should have hit. Both of our player promises should have hit, but still a really good day. 3 on money line, and I believe I went 5-2 when it came to player props. So another good day. And then when it comes to tomorrow, there's not as many games when it comes to player prop wise. There's Olympic games, but there's women games, so they don't have very many player prop wise. I did find some money lines that I did like, and then there's only really props for like 1 or 2 games for the Leagues Cup. There's 3 games, so there's still a couple. I'll very likely probably add plays tomorrow. Probably will be in the afternoon. Drop them in the pinned comment as well, just because there's not many props out, and then they'll add more props later in the day. So I'll just get straight into the picks that I have for tomorrow. My first player prop is Eric Tommy to go higher than 2.5 shots, playing at home for Sporting, going up against Chicago. He's gone over in his last 3 out of 5 games, but when you look at just his home games, he's gone over in the last 5 out of 5 games. And that's because he goes from averaging 2.3 shots away up to 3 at home exactly. And he plays in the midfield, and he loves to take long shots. If you look at his shots, 59% of them are from outside the box. 36 have been from outside, 25 have been from inside. So it's not like he doesn't shoot from inside the box. It's just that the majority of his shots are from the outside, which we like to take those players because we know they're not afraid to shoot. And they played a month ago at home, and he went under with 2, and that was because he got subbed out in the 55th minute. He would have gone over, he would have played full minutes, which I expect him to, because if you look at his last 5 games, he's played full minutes. He's played the whole game in all of them, and then the one where he didn't, he got subbed out with like 4 minutes to go. So as long as he starts, he should play most of the game, and if he does, I like this prop at 2.5. Chicago go from allowing 11.8 shots at home, which is relatively good, but now they're playing away where they allow 16.1 shots. So that's a big mark, a lot of shots for Sporting and Tommy to take. And Chicago in general allow a lot of long shots. They're vulnerable when it comes to that because they kind of sit in the deep block, so the midfield can kind of push up and take those shots when they get the opportunity. So it's going to be a plenty opportunity for him, and I like this mark at home. I like Eric Tommy to go higher than 2.5 shots. My next prop is Kailen Sheridan to go higher than 1.5 goals allowed, playing for Canada going up against France. France in their first game in the Olympics scored 3 goals against Colombia, and I'll explain why here in a second. While Canada on the other side conceded 1, but that was against New Zealand, and now they're playing up against a much tougher matchup in France. They played once last year. It was a friendly, keep that in mind. But even then, France won 2-1, so they scored 2 in that game. And I like this game in general because both teams won their first game, and whoever wins this game gets first place in the group no matter what, pretty much. So, and Canada's defense is not the same as it was in the World Cup. They're missing players like Gillies and Smith and Chapman, who are very experienced players that helped them in that defense. And now they don't have them because, for those that don't know, in the Olympics, everybody but 3 players on the Olympic team for soccer has to be 23 years old or younger. So they don't have that much experience that they had in the World Cup. So I think this is a good matchup that France can exploit. And France's attack is stacked. This is the same attack that they used in the World Cup, and they have a great team. They had Diani, who has 6 goals and assists in 5 games in the World Cup. She had 9 goals and assists in 11 games in the Champions League. They have Kototo, their striker, who had 9 goals and assists in 9 games in the Champions League. And they also have Cascarino, who had 3 goals in 5 games in the Champions League. And they also have a great midfield with Guilloro and Toletti, who can help control that midfield. So I just think the France's attack, they've already played together in general, and they're a great attack. They have great players, and now they're going up against Canada, who they have beat before. They've scored 2 against them. We need them to score 2. They have a much better attack, and Canada's defense is not what they had before. So I think it's a good matchup. So I like Sheridan to go higher than 1.5 goals allowed. My last player prop is Adonis Frias to go lower than 1.5 shots, playing away from home for Leon, going up against Portland. He's a defender turn into CDM, and that's just sometimes. Last season he played as either a left back or a center back, and this season in 2 games he's played as the center defensive midfielder. So he's not a shooter at all. It's not like that's what his role is meant to do in Leon. He averaged 1 shot last season, and he's taken 7 shots in 4 games this season. But in the last game he took 3 shots, and it was at home against Necaxa, and Necaxa gave Leon 19 shots. So there's a reason why he took 3 in the first place. He was playing as a defensive midfielder. And then the game before that they played away against Puebla, and he went under with 1. And then the game before that he went over with 2 at home versus Pachuca, one of his shots being a free kick. So that's where he got that second shot from. And then in the first game he went under when they played away against Pumas, and Pumas only gave Leon 9 shots. And I say that because, first of all, he might not even play as a defensive midfielder. If he plays as a center back, that's just better for us. Less opportunities for him. And even if he does play as a defensive midfielder, I still like this prop at 1.5 because, first of all, in both games that he's played away from home this season, he went under in both of those games. And Portland only allowed 10.2 shots at home. And Portland's weakness, where they can see shots from, are from skillers on the wings, and them cutting in pen to a striker. But that's not what Frias is. He's not going to be on the wing skilling, and he's not going to be in the center looking forward to. His shots just come from him maybe pushing up and taking a long shot. So he's not going to be relied upon at all on the attack. I feel like 1.5 is too high of a mark for him. He might not even play in the midfield, and Portland don't allow that many shots. I like Adonis Frias to go lower than 1.5 shots. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito, link in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100, and you get a free play when you first sign up using my code as well. And then I also have the YouTube membership for those that are interested in that. It's for those that want to get the content out early before anybody else, to try to avoid potential bumps and plays getting taken away. And it's also a great way to support the channel if you're always interested in figuring out how you can do that. And then if not, I also have my Fliff and my Cashapp linked if you want to use those. And I really appreciate and want to thank anybody who supports me in any way. Moneyline wise, the only ones that I liked were the ones for the Women's World Cup. And the first one is the Spain first half 3-way moneyline against Nigeria. Nigeria lost their first game 1-0, and that goal that they conceded was in the first half, so I like that already. And Spain are, in my opinion, definitely the favorites to win this tournament, and there's a reason why. They have players like Parulelo, Putellas, Bonmati, Paredes. Most of this team, 70-80% of this team, it's the same team that won the World Cup. And that team is a young team. They have a great team. They currently have the last 3 player of the years in the world for the women are in the Spain squad. Last year was Bonmati, and the 2 years before that was Putellas. So they have a great and a stacked squad that against this Nigeria team. And the full-time money line is juiced. So the first half, I think you're getting good value there. And Nigeria, I just think, in my opinion, just are no match for this team. They're gonna just pretty much be defending the whole time, and I can easily see Spain scoring a goal in the first half. So I like the Spain first half 3-way money line against Nigeria. And then the second prop that I like, I spoke on it earlier with the Canada pick, but this time it's the France money line against Canada. They won 3-0. They won 3-2 against an underrated Colombia side in their first game, and now they're playing Canada, who barely beat New Zealand in the first place. And like I mentioned before, they played once last year and they won 2-1. And not only in the attack, they have a good defense with Karchawi and Renard. Renard is a great center back, great experienced center back who has pretty much won everything that she has for club and country. And I mentioned before their attack with Diani, Katoto, and Gascarino. So they have a great defense, great attack, and then I mentioned the midfield with Galloro and Toletti. So ultimately, I just think they're the much better team, and like I said, they're gonna want to go out there and get the win, so they can guarantee that first place. Well, guarantee that they qualify into the second round for sure, and very likely they'll secure their first place spot against Canada. And I mentioned before, Canada's defense is not what they used to be, and it's not like they have anybody outstanding in the attack that can go out there and outscore France. And even then, they still have to go past Renard in the center and Karchui on the wing very, very fast. So I think France is just ultimately just a better team. They're going to outclass Canada. So like the France money line against Canada. Thank you everybody for watching. If you could like the video and comment as well, it helps boost the video out to more people, and it's also a great way to support the channel, boost it out to more people. And then if you can, subscribe as well, it's free. And if you can, turn on notifications, that way you get notified when these videos come out. And then just like yesterday, if I do have any added plays, I'll drop them in the pinned comment. It's usually around 30 minutes before the next kickoff game, because one, the teams are usually announced around 45 to an hour before the game, and then I'm looking at the props, so I still need a little bit of time there. So usually around 30 minutes before the game, maybe 15 minutes too. I just try to add them as soon as I can. So if I do have any plays, again, they'll be in the pinned comment later on in the day. They'll definitely drop more plays and stuff like that. Not all of them were out, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good day, a good night, and we can cash out again tomorrow.